Failure to comply may result in sand. So much sand. Hey everyone, it's Jeshik, and welcome back to another episode of AutoCraft Season 6. I'm back at my industrial area to gather some supplies for things we'll be working on today. I've got some big plans, which include decorating portions of the underwater base we started in the last episode. But first, after seeing so many amazing shops already started in the Nether shopping district, I think it's time for me to start working on building my own shops. As you all know, I will be selling all sand and concrete powders, as well as prismarine and ocean items. I have 2 builds in mind that I cannot wait to see come to life. Without further ado, let's head into the Nether and get to work. Before I head into the Nether though, I want to change my skin. As you remember last episode, I talked about how my underwater base and sort of my persona on season 6 was based off the Marvel character Namor. And so I worked with the person who created my skin for AutoCraft season 5 named Misha to create a skin based off of the image that I showed in the last episode. So I'm going to go ahead and change into that and I'll check in just a second. And here we are. I'll go ahead and throw the image of Namor back up on the screen here so we can compare. So as you can see, I have sort of what looks like kind of a wetsuit around on the outsides of my body with that chain in the center of my body. And then if I look towards the back, it looks very cool and sort of seamless with the front of the design. I think it turned out really great. And the only thing that this skin is missing is a trident or even the new spear, which was just released in Minecraft 1.21.11. So I think maybe at the end of this episode or maybe next episode, we'll work on getting both of those items and put those to good use out in the ocean by our base. So here we are in the Nether Hub area where we will be having our shopping district. And so I think the first build, the Prismarine build, is quite large. It takes both sort of vertical and horizontal space. And so I wanted to find a place that was sort of gonna be still in the shopping district, but not right up next to somebody so that they had space for their own build. And so I reached out to the rest of the Autocrafters and sort of showed them this area and asked if anybody had an issue with me putting my build here, and they did not. So this is where the Prismarine shop is gonna go. Now, I'm not going to tell you yet exactly what the Prismarine shop will be, but I did want to make sure that the Prismarine shop brought together my aesthetic from the ocean. And so I came up with an idea to sort of bring something from the ocean over here into the Nether, and that build will house our Prismarine. Now, the other shop was a little bit more tricky because it is pretty tall and I did not want to have to do any terraforming with any of the land masses here around the shopping district. And so I thought this would be a fantastic spot over in this area. But if I went over here, it ran into this land. And so again, I did not want to mess with any of that land. I don't know what the plans are for pathing or anything like that. And so I thought coming over this way would be good and creating some sort of path that'll lead us down. And I want to go a little bit beyond Rosie's flower shop. I think she's got some plans for that maybe later on. So I want to go a little bit further than that, but not too far out that people have to travel lots of blocks in order to get there. So I think these are the 2 locations that we're going to be building. Now that I've chosen exactly where I want the hourglass and the secret Prismarine shop to be built, I'm going to go ahead and throw both time lapses up right now, and then we will explore both builds as soon as I'm done. And if you guessed that I would have a Kraken that captured a ghast, you would be correct. Doesn't that look so cool? So this is the Prismarine shop build. Like I mentioned before, I wanted to try to create something that would utilize my ocean aesthetic for this season. And so I thought, why not bring sort of the idea of a Kraken into the nether and maybe make it like a lava Kraken or nether Kraken that then captured a ghast, and then inside of the ghast would be the build for the Prismarine shop. So I'm gonna go ahead and glide over here quick so that we can look on the inside. As you see, I chose for the ghast to have his face be the fireball face, just to make him look a little bit scared. And you're getting a little preview here of what it's gonna be called. It will be called the Kraken's Hold, and it will be opening soon. I've already put a couple of things in here already. So we have some cool sort of bookshelf things. I think I have some small sea lantern blocks or prismarine blocks that I might be able to decorate around here. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of barrels here that will be housing all of the items that I'll sell. I've already got all of our prismarine blocks here. I went ahead and grabbed all of those from the lighthouse and brought over the little item frames that show how much they will be. I think pretty soon these prices and amounts will change, especially for these ones that are like maybe 2 diamonds per stack or 1 diamond for half of the stack, because I will be doing some AFKing here soon that will allow me to get a little bit more supply and get that stocked up. And then here in the center, I think I'll be selling other ocean items, particularly things like coral. I think there are 5 variations of coral, so I'm not quite sure what the 6th barrel will be for. But I think it'll be cool to sell the coral and have that available for the other Autocrafters. The final piece of this build is actually right here, the emergency exit. So I believe there is still 1 person on the server, Bear, who is not using an elytra. And so I wanted to make sure that Bear could get in and out of the shop if she needed. So I created a little emergency exit here that leads to a door to the back of the ghast, and then she can walk on down the tentacle. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a path from sort of right here at the back of the tentacle all the way into the sand shop area and then back to the main pathway over that direction. So hopefully she'll be able to come on over without any issues if she needs any of her prismarine items. And with that, let's go ahead and rocket on over to the sand shop, which I was also really excited about and I think turned out really great. So here it is, here's the sand shop. So I think it looks really great. And as you can see, there's some sand up at the top that's then dripping down into the bottom of the hourglass, which I think turned out really well. The name of the shop is going to be the Shifting Sands. I think it fits very well with what we're doing in here. And again, just like the Prismarine shop, I've already moved some items over from the lighthouse. I moved all of our sand and sandstone items over here. And then on the sides, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be selling all of the concrete powders. And so I have spaces for all 16 concrete powders to be set up. And I have supplies of both sand and gravel ready for me to get moving on the concrete powder. And speaking of, I'm gonna go up, I have no dyes at all. So I'm gonna jump up to Rosie's flower shop here and see if she has enough flowers that are gonna get me a good amount, I guess, started on some of the dyes that I need for the concrete powder. Okay, Oxeye Daisy's good, Lily of the Valley's good. No orange tulips. No peonies. No dandelions. No lilacs. No blue orchids. No cornflowers. Got some alliums. Rosie, I really need some flowers in this shop. You know what? I think I know just the way to get her attention to fill up her flower shop so I can get some dyes for my concrete powder. Hey Rosie, it's your pal Jeshik. You remember me, right? The one that started the season with everyone, built one of the 4 lighthouses and a gas station, and even started the Trial Society with you? Yeah, that's me. Well, I vanished for a few months, but I'm back, and this is an important public service announcement just for you. As you can see, I have plenty of sand. I have all the gravel I could need. I have a ton of ambition, but I have no dyes.
Hold up!
Without concrete powder, civilization collapses. Roads fade. Builds crumble. Prismarine sits unfinished. Which brings me to you, oh keeper of the flowers. I humbly request that you stock your flower and dye shop. Because I need it. All of it. All 16 dyes, in bulk. For community purposes, of course. Stocking the shop might look something like this.
Hi, I'm Rosie. I'm gathering flowers so I can stock my flower shop. I'm sure there's someone that needs all the flowers that I can collect. Look, it's me again, Rosie. Here I am putting flowers in containers at my flower shop so I can keep my stock up. I'm such a good shop owner.
Also, I will absolutely buy it all. Immediately. Failure to comply may result in sand. So much sand. Okay, bye for now, Rosie. I'm back at the underwater base we started working on last episode, and I promised that I would start working on the interior design process of the areas that I've already built, and I will definitely still do that at some point, but as I was building my new shops in the Nether, I realized how incredibly disorganized my storage really is on the server. I've got items everywhere I've ever been to. I've got items in the lighthouse and in my previous base, at the industrial area, at my sand locations that I'm gathering sand and gravel, and just all over the place. There's things everywhere. So I actually want to prioritize my plans for storage first before we get too involved in the interior decorating process of the build as it stands now. The first phase of that is actually building my bedroom for the underwater base, which, as you can see on the map on the screen, I've already built that. The room itself is built, and this room is actually going to lead us to our underground storage area, which I'm hoping to work on in the next episode. All right, let's go check the room out and get to doing the interior of the bedroom. So if we go to the opposite end of our entrance area, we will find the bedroom. And I'm going to go out into free cam first just to show off the build a little bit. The build itself is not large. It's not like a big build by any means. I didn't need a big bedroom, but I like how it turned out. I love having the glass where you can see sort of outside into the water. I think that's obviously a key detail of this underwater base. So I wanted to make sure I could still see. And if we go inside, here is the interior of the room. On this left-hand side, we have an aquarium. And before the end of the episode, it is my goal to get a Nautilus and have the Nautilus in the aquarium. I think the Nautilus is a really cool addition to Minecraft, and I'm excited to get one. I also have this neat terracotta design, glazed terracotta. Now, I don't normally ever build with glazed terracotta, and so this took me quite a while. And part of the issue is that it's a 3x4, which glazed terracotta does not work in odd numbers. So I had to work really hard to try to find the sort of setup that I wanted, but I think it turned out really great. In the interior of the room here, I think there's enough space for me to do everything that I'm envisioning. Like I said, this area does not need to be large by any means because I'm not really going to spend a lot of time in here other than maybe to just sleep in the bed. The real location is going to be over here where we will build down into the storage area, which will be right underneath of us. So I think the first thing that I want to do is work on the bed. If I can place my bed in the right spot, I think that will help us out. So I'm going to go ahead and put some bookshelves here. I think that would look nice. And I'm going to surround those with some quartz. And let's actually do this maybe. Oop, I ran out. I went too far, I think. Let me do this. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the bed here. I went with a cyan bed. I think that matches the wall very, very well. And I also need some stairs and slabs. Let me grab these. Let me grab these. I think I want to do maybe slabs right there and then stairs right here. And then I obviously can't sleep right now, but if I sleep, the stairs won't prevent me from getting back up, which I think is really great. And then above the bed, I think I want to add like some shelving here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to throw some chests up and maybe I've got 2 ender chests in my inventory right now. I was going to put one somewhere else, but maybe I'll put one right there. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. And then I've got some barrels as well. I sort of want to do some barrel storage to make it look like I have cabinets. And so maybe we can do maybe one set right there, and we can do the same location on the other side. Maybe we throw a couple up there as well. That looks good. And then I also want to put chests underneath here. Let's separate those actually. Maybe we make them 2 separate chests so I can store other things. You know what would be good? I think over here I actually have glow berries. Yeah, let's do some glow berries growing underneath of that. I think that's a cool addition there. Go ahead and put those back. I don't need those right this second. Okay, I think I'm gonna do the item frame trick where you put item frames and then you can put something in the item frame to sort of make it look like a handle. And so I'm gonna use the stair and I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that looks great. I like how that looks. I think I could also do, I'll put some signs on it. That looks good. Sort of giving it sort of like a front design to the cabinet. And I wondered too if maybe, so we have the ability to turn off item frames essentially or make them invisible. So I'm gonna try it on one side and just see how I like it. So I made this side invisible. I do kind of like it. I like not having the item frame showing or peeking through. I think it makes it look more realistic to an actual cabinet. So I'll probably do that on this side as well. All right, that is done. And I have 2 more item frames, so I might just pop them up here. I don't know what we'll display up in this area, but we'll think of something for some cabinet space. I also I was able to grab some sea pickles. So I kind of want to add some sea pickles to the top of the barrels. There we go. I always forget how to put multiple sea pickles on a spot. I have to click the sea pickle. Okay. I think that looks nice. And I also brought over some end rods and a couple of ghast heads. I think this could look really cool to put end rods here and make that sort of like some lamps. And then I'm going to go back here and do this. I think that looks great. That looks so cool. You can't see the face of the ghast, which I like. It's sort of facing the wood, but it does sort of look like there's a lamp shade on top of the lamp. I really, really like that. I really enjoy that. Let's see. I definitely want to add the space for the storage area. So I'm going to have a chest there. I'm going to have a trapdoor there. So the idea, and we'll go more into depth, hopefully this next episode, is that if I don't need to go into the storage area, I can just throw whatever I'm storing in this and it will travel down and go into the appropriate chests. And then this would be sort of the entrance through a ladder that would get us down to the area. So I think now I definitely want to add some more to this. I also want to do something with some carpeting maybe. So let's, I actually have 2. Let's do like a little seating area here. Oop, misplaced. Let's do a little seating area. Yeah, I think that looks nice. And then I have some carpets. I have white and I have cyan and I have gray. I think those are good options. So let's start. Well, first I want to cover this up a little bit. And actually, I want to use these slabs around to create more of a frame. Yeah, and then it'll make it easier for us to get up. And then the cyan carpet itself sort of helps blend in and the white doesn't stick out quite as much. So I'm thinking to do some sort of like box around here in the center of the room, maybe like 3 of those and 2 of those. I could do like a complete cyan box right here. Maybe one in the middle, and let's do sort of gray on the outsides and white here. And then let's do the opposite of what we did over there. How do we feel about that? I think that looks nice. That's very, very nice looking. I have some banners here. My chandelier, I think I like it. My chandelier is cool, but I want to add some banners for sure. So the first place I'm gonna add banners is right there on the sea lanterns themselves, and then I'm also gonna add some maybe there on the outside of the stairs if I can reach. Yeah, I think that looks cool. Just gives it a little bit more texture and interest for sure. I've also got some plant things we can do on this side. Let me think about that. 2 barrels here. I'll do, nope, that's not what I want. I want standing barrels like that. There we go. Some planters here, and then I'm gonna grab these dead bushes and do that, and then I'll grab some flowering azalea. Let's see what 2 looks like. Yeah, I think that looks really good. That sort of opens up that space there, makes it less bland just with the glazed terracotta. So I honestly think this might be where I stop with the interior of this. Like I said, I don't need anything to be super fancy or anything like that. I just sort of wanted a space where I could come in and sleep and maybe throw a couple things down, but really the main area is going to be right here into the storage area. So one of the final things I wanted to do in this episode is actually go find one of the newest mobs to the game, the Nautilus. I think it's so cute. I think it's a really great mob that will fit our base. And I think I've seen some Nautilus swimming around my base here. Oh, there's some right there. I already went and got some pufferfish from my fishing area, and I am going to tame at least one, if not both of these Nautilus. Let's see. Let's do that. Nope, didn't. Oh, he loves me. I love that. And we're going to put a saddle on. Oh my gosh, I'm riding a Nautilus. Oh, I shifted off. I shifted off. Oh, Bear's saying congrats. Thanks, Bear. Is it? Oh. I don't. How do I? Oh, is it kind of similar to like the happyghast, where you sort of point the direction you're wanting to go? Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have, let's see, what's the best way to get in here? Probably this. Gonna do this and that. Oop. And I'm gonna pop off that. For right now, I'm just gonna block that up. I just want to see what it looks like, and then I'm gonna try to go get that other one. I only brought 1 name tag. I did have 1 name picked out, but now that there's 2, I feel like I have to go get the second one. Oh yes, that is gonna look so great. Okay, I'm gonna run back to my industrial area. I'm gonna get another saddle, another name tag, and I'm gonna see if I can get that other Nautilus into this area. So the names I've decided are Dash. That's Dash. And this is going to be Shelby, but spelled like Shell. I think that's so funny. So these are my 2 new Nautilus friends. I'm so excited to have them. So I'm back in the Nether because the last thing that I wanted to do for this episode was actually open my shops. So if we come in the sand shop, we'll see that we have some stock of concrete powder. So we'll go ahead and put this sign up right here. Do a fun little design. The shifting sands. And then throw that on there. That looks great. And then let's fly on over to our Prismarine area. And this one, I think I'll probably have to do a regular sign unless I put something up there, but I'll do a regular sign. Let's do that. The Krakens hold. And that, and let's get rid of this. So I'm still working on gathering some coral blocks and some coral fans and things like that to put in here, but the Prismarine blocks are all set and ready to go. So I am going to keep working on that between episodes and get that filled. And with that, we have come to the end of this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. I loved getting to make the shops. I loved working on my room at the underground base. And I loved that little video message that I was sharing with Rosie about getting some dyes and flowers in her shop. I really hope that she likes it and thinks that it's really funny. It's all in good fun. As always, if you liked the video, please make sure you comment, make sure you like, and hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing to subscribe and it helps me out just a little bit, and I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.